Hi everyone, my name is Gordon and today I'm going to give you the 6 tips on how to pass the New York bar examination. Hi everyone, my name is Gordon and today I'm going to talk about the New York bar examination. Recently there's so many people asking me questions about how to pass the bar exam, what the right approach and strategies, etc. So I think it would be good for me to make a video specifically on this. Well, the New York bar exam has always been described as one of the toughest examinations in the legal world. This is kind of true because when you look at the statistics, for example, in the past July 2019's examination, the overall passing rate for all the 10,000 candidates is about 65%, and for foreign educated candidates the passing rate is even lower, it's just 43%. So the New York bar examination is definitely not an easy examination, but is it as difficult as many of you guys think? Maybe it's also good for me to give you some background information about myself personally. I recently passed the July 2019 New York bar exam with a score of 312. It's not the best score in the New York bar exam, but it is decent considering my personal circumstances. Because I'm a first-time taker and I'm a foreign educated candidate, I never studied in the United States before, and I did my undergraduate law degree in Hong Kong, and then I did my master's degree in the UK, and then I take the bar exam. And the New York bar exam mainly consists of 3 parts. The first part is called MEE, which consists of 200 multiple choice questions, and you have to answer in 6 hours, 3 hours in the morning sessions and 3 hours in the afternoon sessions. And the second part of the bar exam is called the MEE. You are required to answer 6 essay questions covering 14 different subject matters, and you have 3 hours to answer those essay questions as well. And finally is the MPT, which is a practical legal task. You are required to finish 2 different practical legal tasks, and usually they are legal memorandums, and it tests your practical skills of being a lawyer, and you have to answer in 3 hours as well. So basically this is the general idea of the content of the New York bar exam. And so I will jump right into the tips I'm going to give you in order to succeed in the bar exam. So the first tips is about the amount of time spent on the New York bar examination. Whether I should study full-time or part-time for the bar examination, it really depends on your commitment. Because some people may have to work full-time as well. But personally, I think studying full-time for the bar examination is the best strategy for you. One of the most difficult part about the New York bar examination is that you have to comprehend and study a huge amount of information within a really short period of time. And you need to keep revising and studying those materials in order to refresh the memory and make it deeply ingrained into your brains. So I think the intensity of studying the bar exam is really important. And also, you have to study subjects that are interrelated to each other very frequently. For example, on Monday, I will study criminal law, criminal procedure, and also evidence. Tuesday, I will study tort law and contract law. And Wednesday again, I will revise criminal law and tort law. So my schedule is that I will keep revising different subjects very frequently so that I will keep refreshing my memories on those subjects. This is very important, and to do so you need to study full-time so that you can comprehend those materials very consistently throughout the study period. In fact, if you can study full-time, you don't even need to commit a whole year before the bar exam and to start studying, because it is kind of pointless, bearing in mind that the intensity of your study is more important than the duration of your study. So if you are able to study full-time, I will advise you to start studying about 4 months before the actual date of the New York bar exam, and that will be more than sufficient for you to do that. And ideally, you also need to commit about 9 to 10 hours a day for the first 3 months, and for the last month, you are supposed to commit almost 13 to 15 hours a day. That will help you absorb and comprehend those materials more efficiently. For the second tips, you have to have a study timetable that is tailored specifically to your needs. In general, I would advise you to define your study timetable into at least 3 parts. Assuming that you are going to study for the bar exam for 3 months, the first month should be the time when you get a general understanding of all the 14 subjects required for the bar exam. So you need to read the notes provided by whichever course provider you enrolled in. And also you need to start memorizing some of the contents of the law as well. And for the second month, you will try to attempt some past paper questions to understand your weakness, because once you start doing the past paper questions, you understand which particular area you're less familiar with compared to other areas. Maybe you got most of the answers wrong for civil procedure law, for example. Then you will try to focus more time, and you will try to spend more time on that particular subject compared to other subjects that you performed relatively well in the MCQ, in the practice questions. So this is a period for you to actually trying to understand the process of the examination, and also to try to deeply understand the materials itself through practicing the questions. So for the final month, ideally, you should start doing the practice question or past paper questions more vigorously. You aim at doing at least 50 multiple choice questions per day. And during the final 2 weeks of your preparation, you should definitely try to do a full set of multiple choice questions, because in real life, in the real bar exam situation, you are required to do 100 multiple choice questions in 3 hours. Personally, I think you should try to do at least 100 multiple choice questions within 3 hours during your practice session, so that you know whether you can actually finish those questions, whether it takes you more time to do it than you expected. Ideally, you should spend only 1.5 minutes for each multiple choice questions. Oh, it's easier said than done, so you definitely need to give it a try to see whether you are capable of finishing those questions on time, because in practice, I'm going to tell you, most of the candidates, they cannot finish those questions on time. And being able to finish those multiple choice questions on time definitely gives you a comparative advantage on the bar exam. Also remember, try to do at least 1 MPT before your actual bar examination, because the MPT is a really stressful examination, in the sense that you need to absorb a lot of information provided by the examiner and then draft a legal document based on those information. It takes you a long time to comprehend those information, and you need to at least try once whether you can finish 1 legal memorandum within 1.5 hours. And this is very important for your bar preparation, because many candidates could not finish the MPT on time, or they spend so much time on one task and they leave only 45 minutes for the remaining task, and that would completely destroy your marks in the MPT session and affect your final grade as well. For the third tips, you have to start studying. You should start your revision with subjects that are particularly important or have a more structured format to answering. What does that mean? Basically, for the New York bar exam, there's 7 key subjects that you must study all the time, and they are particularly important because they will be tested in both the MBE and MEE. Those subjects include contract law, tort law, civil procedure, criminal law, land law, and also constitutional law. Yeah, 7 subjects. Yeah, I think I didn't miss anyone. So those 7 subjects you need to study most intensely compared to all the remaining subjects. And those subjects usually are particularly important for the bar exam. For example, civil procedure is the key for the New York bar exam. It is one of the most frequently tested subjects in both the MBE and also the MEE. So you gotta pay much more attention to the civil procedure law subject. I'll give you another example. Topics like constitutional law and criminal procedure law, you should also study them at an early stage. Because, for example, for the criminal procedure law, they have topics like search and seizure. Usually those topics have a very structured step-by-step approach to answering question. So memorizing those approach at an early stage will allow you to have those memory deeply ingrained into your brain, and it is actually helpful for your future studies. And it's always better to study to start with subjects that have a very structured format, and you can you should remember those formats at an early stage, and it will help your study progress as well. Also, don't spend too much time on some minor subjects. For example, conflicts of law. Well, it is still important in terms of preparation for the MEE, but you don't want to spend too much time on a subject that is rarely tested, and it is just not worth your time. Spending more time on subjects that will be frequently tested, like like civil procedure, criminal procedure, and also constitutional law, is way more worth your time. So the next tips is that your main focus should be the MBE. As some of you may notice, the MBE accounts for 50% of the New York bar examination, while the MEE accounts for 30% and MPT accounts for 20% of the New York bar examination. So studying for the MBE is the key for passing the bar exam. There is actually an online study suggesting that if you score exactly average on the MBE portion, you just need to score on the 19th percentile for the essay portions in order to pass the bar exam. So that means you have a really high chance of passing the bar exam if you do well in the MBE session. And actually, you don't even need to do really well. You just need to score an average score for the MBE session in order to guarantee that you will likely pass the bar exam. So why don't we spend more time on the MBE portion? So I would suggest that throughout the whole study period, you aim to study the MBE part every day. That means you should revise the 7 key subjects I mentioned before every day. And sometimes you should spend the night to study either the MPT or the MEE. Personally, I think you don't need to spend that much time on MPT. For me, I just spent a week on MPT to know about the format of different essay types, and also to try to do at least 1 or 2 past paper questions on the MPT, because it mainly tests only your practical writing skill, which you can't suddenly improve it overnight. Is a skill that you have been practicing for your whole undergraduate degree. Like, it's a more practical task. So my advice is to focus exclusively or mainly on the MBE, and also pay attention to the MEE. But the MPT is really not the most important task among those 3. Okay, here comes to the 5th tip. Practice, practice, practice. Practice is the most important part of the New York bar exam, apart from memorizing the law, because you need to be familiar with the whole examination format and the type of questions they are going to ask you in the actual examination. Particularly for the MBE portion, you aim to practice at least 1,500 questions to 2,000 questions. That can be based on past paper questions, or can be based on the sample question provided by your course providers as well. But you need to practice that amount of question in order to wholly capture all forms of question that will likely appear in the bar examination. So that is very important. And also, you need to know your weaknesses, as I mentioned before, because when you study, you didn't actually know which subject you understand the most or you understand the least. But by practicing the question, you actually know which subject you always answer the question wrongly, and which subjects you're actually more confident about, so that you can change your strategies in terms of revision. You can focus more on subjects that you're least familiar with, so that it is very helpful. More importantly, doing past paper question doesn't just mean doing it. You need to understand it. You need to understand all the 4 answers. Why the answer is incorrect. Why the answer you chose is correct. Why the other 3 answers are incorrect. Because of which reason, what kind of reason. If you can do that and comprehend and fully embrace the 1,500 questions you have done, I can guarantee you will do really well in the MPE portion. Me personally, I've done 1,518 questions based on past papers and also other sample questions, and I passed the MPE part with a pretty good score. So I think that is the way to go. You need to practice questions as many as possible, and ideally you also want to finish 100 questions within 3 hours. You need to try this at least once, because that's what the bar exam will require you to do, and you need to know whether you actually can finish those questions on time. It is very difficult for you. Imagine when you need to do 100 multiple choice questions. Each question relates to a different concept from a different subject. You need to consistently change the kind of law or subject matter regarding that question in your brain. You need to keep, comprehend different areas of law. It's a really intellectually challenging thing to do. So practice is the key to completing the bar exam. My final tips for the New York bar exam is this: make a summarized or personalized notes for yourself. No matter which course providers you use for the preparation of the bar examination, they will definitely give you notes that have really detailed descriptions of the law, about every possible legal concepts you should have known for the bar exam, but it's just too lengthy for the preparation of the bar exam. So as you start preparing for the bar exam, apart from using the notes from those course providers, make your own notes. Try to simplify the notes and only include concepts that are often tested. And especially after you practice so many past paper questions, you kind of know which kind of question will likely appear and what kind of mistakes you will likely make. Mark those mistakes or concepts you learn from past paper and incorporate them into your notes, so that you will have a summarized notes of all the important concepts, and particularly it reminds you of the mistakes you're likely to make. So that will be really helpful for your study as the time gets closer to the bar exam date, so that in the final 2 or 3 weeks you have a really condensed, personalized notes for yourself, so that you can study more efficiently and revise those concepts quicker and also faster. So these are the 6 tips I have for passing the New York bar exam. I hope you guys enjoy watching this video, and I hope this is really helpful, because when I studied for the New York bar exam, I tried to find so many online resources for it. I tried to search YouTube video, but I couldn't really find any good YouTube video concerning how to pass the bar exam and regarding the strategy of taking the bar exam. So I think this video will be helpful for so many aspiring New York attorney, so that, especially for foreign educated candidates, because they probably experience similar situation like what I experienced before. So I really hope that this video could help many of you guys who are struggling to study for the bar exam and who are really worried about it, because this is a new thing for so many people, especially for foreign educated candidates. We need to fly all the way from your country to the New York state in order to take the bar exam, and we didn't know about New York law that much. I really hope that you guys find this video helpful, and well, if you like this video, click the like button and also subscribe to my channel, because I have decided to use this YouTube channel to help people who may struggle regarding their legal career about bar examinations and also applications in general to universities or jobs. Because in the past I experienced quite a lot of different kinds of challenges, struggles and failures in so many aspects of my legal professional life. So I'm just trying to use this channel to give you guys some positivity, and I hope that my stories or my experiences, as some of you guys may know, could inspire you and actually help you survive the toughest period of your legal professional life, because everyone experienced rejection at some point in their life. Well, but we just didn't say it out loud. But actually we do need to encourage each other, so that to help each other in order to survive this tough legal career, or actually any kind of career in general, because every job application is tough and every kind of examination is tough if you don't know the right approach and you don't approach the right people to for help. Anyway, I probably spoke too much, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.